more passion, more energy, more footwork.
Welcome, everybody, to King of the Hill on Throne. Today, Twig has abandoned us, though not in the cast. Welcome, Twig, to the cast. But Tank Tom and I are taking the high ground, and we're going to hold and push against those peasants. Rebelling is not acceptable, and it is victory that is the only condition we will take. The question is, can the 7 of us on this high hill make it down and around the map, or will the peasants come with their pitchforks and flames? Thankfully, we've got that lava that's going to protect us for 10 minutes. We can build up that eco very nicely while that happens, though that does mean the peasants will have the same opportunity, but with a plus 45% bonus, or potentially slightly more, plus 50, we have the advantage, and that is our right as the kings. Joining me in the cast, as I mentioned before, is Tank, Tom, and Twig. Let's see what we can do with this one.
Yeah, over 50 players in this game, quite the massive RTS, and I think it's kind of like a sweet spot for this variation of Throne, where you can see that we've managed, thanks to Chronographer, adding lava into a low spot in the middle, creating a separation between the peasants and the kings, and then we've got all the dirt around the edge of the map, which is often water. We can't add both lava and water, and I don't think these guys will do too well in water, so we've just made it so that they can build their ecos out in the edges. Sweet spot of players, I reckon, around the 50 player mark for these King of the Hill games on Throne.
One of the great things about the dry sea is that it gives the peasants an opportunity to really expand outwards and backwards. This is yet another layer of defensive bastion that they can hide behind, and even though there's no mexes back here, the effort and time that it takes to put into those self-perpetuating ecos, it's still very possible to come online at around the 20-minute mark, which is when you're really going to want to push those kings hard. You rely on the guys on the inside of the ring to put that pressure on and stop the kings from going crazy. Then you try and come and sweep in. And we'll see whether that works out. We do see some good eco corners out of the peasants, and hopefully with Small leading the charge in one of these positions, we'll end up with a nice little push up. Now, for those of you that aren't King of the Hill regulars, and for those of you who are, here is a quick rundown of what's going on. There is no air, there is no use of structures offensively. Kings have a bonus, but there are a lot less of them, and we do have a 10-minute no rush timer on. Your best way to win is to be very, very aggressive. The Kings, even though it looks like there's only 3 ramps of attack, that is not the case at all. All of these walls can be traversed by spiders, and if you can get yourself some of the tier 3 artillery, such as the vanguards or the catapults, you can really rain hell down on the kings. The advantage the kings have, though, more money and focused into less players. So those are going to be some really strong pushes out of the kings, hopefully. But there's a lot of territory to grab, even if you do take out a peasant location or 6. If the kings can't keep control of that area, then the peasants will re-expand into it and attack from behind. Keep those kings on the defensive, and they'll never be able to push out.
What we're doing here from Praetor's Shoes, not going into a lab, just getting their builders off of the middle player. And it's good tactics, sharing the eco and just waiting for that T2 to come up. There's only 2 mexes here. It's not really viable to rely on that tactic though for every player, because it just takes too long to pump out all these 2T constructors, which JLAO really needs to not do, so he can focus on getting that eco up and running. Definitely not enough energy there right now.
And that was one of the things specifically picked up in the game, was that JLAO was only going to supply the T2 to the defensive bastions on the ramps.
Yeah, these 3 players
us in the corner, we're building our own T2. And continuing on from there.
One of the great things about those T2 labs is when you reclaim them as a king with that plus 50%, you do get more metal than you invested into them, and that is essentially necessary for getting your economy up and rolling. Not to mention, with this new 7-player king setup that we're using, it does allow for players to actually get onto those ramps and defend them, and it leaves the kings free to defend around the back of their own bases. We'll see whether each one of them manages to get that up in time.
Yeah, so real role players here, Praetor, Wanira, and I kill you for fun. Never encourage that. Only kill in bar if you have to. But anyway, defenses. You can see here a bunch of gauntlets and guardians, laser towers, pop-ups, etc, etc, going to be up there. I'm preferring what Praetor's doing though, waiting until a little bit later in the 10-minute no rush to build those, focusing purely on eco. You can see plenty of win, plenty of conversion coming up, and I can bet there's going to be a range of T1 and T2 defenses. And in these corners, the only defenses you have to worry about here is what Bondman's doing. Some twin guards around the outside, pop-ups and beamers also go well. You want to stop those spider attacks coming over the edge. I will note tremors, ambassadors and arbiters are all disabled in this game mode, so you can't sit there lobbing over, as well as the T1 what's it called, hovers as well, rocket hovers, which have quite the range, because it's just too easy to hit the eco. You just need to guess and you'll hit eco. They're turned off. And then of course there's eco up in the middle.
It is still possible to do some shelling with things like hounds, Mausers, and equivalent, but Sheldons even can get some shells up on the high ground, but it's not like you can just rain down on the king's positions. For those of you wondering why we do that, look at the size of the build area. You throw a missile up there, it's going to hit something sort of post 10 minutes.
Got to touch on that. These three players on the edges as well, their job is at that 10-minute mark to be making units. T2 is what they're aiming for. Maybe some T1 out of the edge players. Potentially T2 if you can afford it. And then Jaleo up on the top. Eco, and then maybe a bit of T3. Maybe a bit. Got
to eat that lab, Jaleo. You got to get a little bit more energy down, eat that lab, and fund that metal in with just the one build turret and 3 builders plus a comm on that. It is not going to come up quite fast enough. You've got to be super efficient with those resources.
Just doing a quick check on the edges. We're seeing these ecos expanding slowly. You can really see them bounce up and up. This player here just going into mass T1 before even building a lab. Interesting. But we will see these slowly grow. We're going to check in every 5 to 10 minutes on the outside here just to show you how big. Here we go. Look at this. Look how quick it's coming up now for this player here, off of no mexes, up to plus 18 metal, 7 minutes in the game. Pretty good. That's almost enough.
As soon as that scaling starts, it starts getting crazy, because even though you're missing out on, we'll say, 9 metal a second from 3 mexes, you're also not going to be someone that you're expecting to get units from at that 10-minute mark. So you're going to be lagging a tiny bit behind, but you can focus all into eco. If you practice these builds, we've actually seen somebody up here with a plus 100 just a fraction after the 10-minute mark, which is not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, you compare that even small here, who has the advanced. I mean, there's probably other ecos around here stealing the mixes, whatnot, rather than sharing it all. But the max metal income is not that much higher than some of these outside positions. So nicely done to those players that scale well. I like to see it. Commie eco also. That's a way to do it on the outside. Doesn't take many commanders to detonate to build a T2 lab.
We've had some pretty famous co-op eco games by Duffy in the past, Cookie Destroyer more recently, and we've also seen, I think it was Dexnor that did a fantastic one recently.
Don't get me anyway names.
Absolute phenomenal. We're talking about T2 labs sub 1 minute 40, and then having themselves double APHIS by 10 minutes. And this is not off the Geospot either.
We can see most of these beamers coming up within the range of these construction turrets. So nicely done with positioning of stuff so you can reach the defenses. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Tom put some pop-up lightning turrets as well going up. What are they called again? The Dragon's Claw.
Yep, double stack those defenses, outer line to take the shots, and inner line such as pop-ups, beamers, and those and the any sort of pop-up actually to do the damage. The in particular the T2 pop-up turrets are ridiculously good against spiders, but you do need something more to keep chipping away at them and to keep them back.
We are seeing more and more of the rise of walls being used in these King of the Hill games, and I like it because you do have those rushes of T1, and what's happened here is 2 of your defensive lines, there's only some small spots where you can get through. We've gone from night mode to day mode. Shifting skies.
Nightmare has been shifting around the position of the moon. We've been fighting under an eclipse. Others might say under a rain of arrows, but we're back to daylight now, which means that all those solars should be working again. That's a joke, by the way. It doesn't actually turn off the solars.
Bondman here, one of the more experienced players, but same advice as Jaleo. Eat that lab, get the metal into your eco, and then build the lab again.
20 seconds to go. Looking at the King's position right now, lightly defended for Bombman. Definitely need more than this to defend against spiders. But the real scary thing is Kukado. Kukado is not defended at all in this position. And thankfully for him, doesn't look like there's any immediate spider threats, but I would be concerned around that. Doing a quick bandbox across the map to see units. The Kings have a decent number of welders up, but the Peasants have gone with an incredible amount of passivity. Only one attack coming up, so that means the Kings are going to have plenty of time to do whatever they need to do. Such as for myself, get the last couple of defenses up here, and if I'm being honest, the way that I've built this, I would genuinely love a group of people. I'm almost always in this position if we're on thrones. Challenge me. This is what my defense will look like.
Just quickly looking over there, don't want to miss this battle with Vanera. Yep. These Jaguars going to clean up those thugs quite quickly, leaving a bit of metal there on the ground. This commander better watch out because there is radar up on the hills, and they will shoot, they will hurt, it will sting. Backing up there, the smart move, and we do have defenses here which might be enough to stop these Jags.
You want to know an interesting thing about Jags? If you catch a comm out of position and they don't degun you, 2 Jags, one in front, one behind, kill a comm ludicrously quickly. Well, then they both survive, which is I did not know that, and that is a crazy amount of damage that you can kick out of those Jags if you play them right. That surround bonus for a Jag is absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, we got Bondman with T2 in the form of Sheldons, and then Tom in the form of Welders. I do like this Welder approach, especially with no aggression coming. There are a couple Quakers that are going to do damage, but not that much because Welders do have so much health, almost 3,000.
Quakers are over there, and I'm going this way.
Oh no, this player doesn't know how to degun.
Oof.
Yikes.
Still, they managed to detonate inside of the units, which buys some time. Though the scary thing right now is Bondman having to deal with spiders. They are popping up over the edge, but they are discovering the power of Twin Guards and Pitbulls. Still getting a bit of damage in, but thankfully this double stacked defense will hopefully be enough to edge them out.
Yeah, good job building the eco all the way back here, which is still so slowly getting up, but it's about to be online. It just reclaiming that.
I just want to point this out. Had these spiders made it in by 10 minutes, they only would have had to fight 4 Twin Guards. And if they picked their right positioning, they would have been able to get through only fighting 2.
Yeah.
So do bear that in mind. The timing of your attacks for the Kings can be quite critical.
Yeah, the skill rating for the Peasants, still some real big names in there, but not quite as high as we see sometimes. So maybe not that experience there to see.
Are you claiming that I had an easy time of it?
I'm not saying any 40 pluses.
If I win, are you pre-diminishing?
I'm hearing a whole lot of whitey voices now.
This is the sound of royalty.
Yeah. We deserve this. It's all right.
We'll see if you guys win it. Because the
just like to point out, you were just looking at my... You were just looking at my rattlesnakes shelling down on those T1 on that T1 army. I'm pushing my comm out alone to try and drag units back into my defensive fire.
Yep.
Getting greedy. Oh, let's focus up here because Wanera's just taken a Geo. Really, probably the only one that's broken any lines so far out of both the Peasants. This commander is probably going to get the D guns off. One getting away with 0% health on it. Oh, wow.
Love to see it hiding behind that lab.
Oh, wow. I thought I was going to get the T2 lab. Nicely done with this tick support out here. Really nice little eco here out of Wanera. Not going too greedy, just the 1 fusion, but that is enough to build Jags and ticks. And doing the aggressive thing and really putting the pressure in, causing all these players to stop ecoing and building units.
While this is going on the right-hand side, I'm pushing out again.
And pushing out through the scary spot. So One of the things which changing the topography of this map does is it does allow for a few spots around here to be traversable. So I would highly recommend you use the, I believe it is the F2 key, to find anywhere that isn't completely red. Anywhere that isn't completely red is a pathway for units, and they can come up unexpectedly. And this is one of the things the Kings really do have to take advantage of if they want to win. These ramps can get very heavily defended, and because you're fighting onto a high ground, you will most certainly suffer casualties moving up. I really like the bowl effect where both sides get a high ground advantage, but it definitely means that utilizing your attack avenues is the name of the game in this case.
Talking utilizing attack avenues, Tom has realized there is just too much here in terms of the heavy T1 units, and turned these army of welders around, and we are seeing them waddling straight into the undefended eco of this brown player up here. 2 fusions, a little bit greedy. We've got a Prude, which will take a bit to fall, but these
Prude's way harder to kill than the other Geo. The other Geo went up to 2 welders.
Yep.
This one actually had to stand around and kill.
It does produce less energy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's only a mere 750.
Yeah, 750, but it survived the welders, so I'd say that it's well worth it.
100%. But what you're going to do is take out this entire base, because a couple of fusions in this, it would have been better just to have the normal advanced Geo, which would have supported enough eco to put out even T3. You can build Marauders every about 20 seconds off of a advanced Geo.
And that is always the question, is whether you play defensively or offensively. And in that position, as good as that Prude has been, it unfortunately probably hasn't saved that player. So maybe the eco would have been fractionally better.
Yeah.
But with the T2 coming out to defend this, there is quite a lot of those Salamanders, that is technically T1, and Tigers that are going to be taking out the rest of what Tank Tom has with Quaker support, and this area should be able to get back online.
Really focused on that Prude, Tom. I mean, you got it. There is also a little bit dark.
I knew I wasn't going to make it out of the army, so I just figured
there is an APHIS of
my goal for those pushes was take out the Geos.
I'm loving this aggression out of Wanira. I mean, this player, I'm just noting this player here has seen that you can walk down these hills, so putting the pressure on, there's a lot of pressure on the south side, especially with Small down here, leading the charge with Bam Bam Peg and Uncle Stitch. Big Eco's coming up there, and we're seeing plenty of T2 coming out of them now, which needs to come online quick, because these Sheldon balls out of Bondman, and these T1s out of For Fun. Putting the pressure on.
One of the things that is quite important for the peasants is controlling the 3 mechs areas on the middle tier. If those tend to fall outside the range of defenses, and having that extra layer between your bases and you is something that the Kings can't ignore. They have to deal with that threat because it's a staging ground, but it also means that you're keeping them away from your main entrances, you're keeping them away from trying to do run-bys, because you're just putting that pressure on, which is something that just hasn't overly been happening in this game so far. The Kings are... The threat that the Kings have been under have been a spider push up towards Bombman, and I do believe there was one that headed towards Kukado, but Kukado didn't manage to get his defenses up before that one happened. I do believe someone gave him a ping saying, wait a sec, get those defenses up.
Let's just check again here. Look at this eco in the corner here. We've already got 2 fusion reactors. We're going for the APHIS. We've got almost 100 metal per second. Over here, similar. Every corner really building up here. And when these come online, this is where you guys are under the clock. If you don't get these initial layers subdued, these corners are going to be big problems. Huge ecos coming up, big wind farms. Each player has a unit cap of 650-ish. And
this is why I was focusing on getting these raiding parties out.
Who got this? That was you, Tom.
That was me. I was basically targeting Geos. I knew if I could hit those, then I'd at least stall those
Geos go boom
sections of the map for a while.
Geos do go
and
boom.
I just kept on getting units out, and each time you got into them, there was a good chance that once the Geo goes pop, you can clear out most of what's left. Having Wanira on this left side meant that I didn't have to worry too much about coming over this way. This ramp was relatively well looked after. The bottom side, they were
4.5 second reload on these starlights. We've got a few up now. So as long as these grunts, which they are doing right now, get in too close, this is very threatening on this corner here. If only he can get to these fusions in the background, it's going to be real problems for this top corner of the map where most of the damage is being done. Get those statistics. It's actually you, Tom, that's done the most.
This is where something like Human Being in the top left corner, if you're seeing this much pressure being put on there, yep, you're still at you're at plus 40 metal a second. That means that you can pump out 2 ticks a second. Do that. Get those in there, because right now the biggest threats are those starlights, and those starlights will not be able to deal with ticks. Yeah, teamwork. Exactly. If the peasants work together, despite what I was saying at the beginning, in the intro, if the peasants work together, there is no beating them. And this is a fact that we have seen over and over and over again. If you cover the person to your left with what they need, more so than what you need, you will win regardless of what happens, because there is more map available to you, more players, more micro, and the kings can only push out in so many places.
We've got a big old Thor on the front line here with some very cautious peasant commanders walking back and forth.
That Thor, I'm fairly sure, becomes the bane of my existence unless it gets degunned. It's either that one or one of his brothers in the future.
This is on your team.
Because eventually, in like 10 minutes, that Thor will be resurrected and on the front line and dealing with a whole bunch of my T3.
Yeah, if these get down to about 15% health, hit that Control D or Control B, depending what keys you're using. Control B for grid keys is what I use. I reckon you guys are on Legacy, which is Control D.
100% Legacy for the win.
It is what we started with. I was just too slow with them with some of the micro. That's why I made the change. Oh, lots of Razorbacks. Razorbacks go brr.
One of the things which is happening right here, and I actually want to call this out as a good use of this, there is a player on the Peasants team going for Junos. And they are setting them up to drop the Junos in front of the areas where all of the ticks are going. Yeah. So for example, my spam has been shut down because they popped a Juno there, so I've swapped out of it. I believe that Winira's spam will soon be shut down. They're not dropping them on us. They're dropping them in the lines where the spam is going, which is really good play and great use of Junos.
Yeah, this is why we do ask people, like, Juno is another structure that has to fit. They're all no offensive structures, so they can't shoot up into the base and take out radars and whatnot, but they are more than welcome to shoot down into this middle ground. And they really did some damage there by shutting down the tick lines. That's why we leave them on, is they do have a use. Another geo going pop.
Nice. We do love those geos going pop. And again, I'd just like to point out that right now that is the first of those 5 starlights going down after they have rampaged all the way from the middle of the map, from the top of the map down to the left middle of the map. And all that's needed to take out starlights is like 200-300 metals worth of ticks. There are ticks defending, there are ticks running by, but ticks will, if you just concentrate on the starlights, the ticks won't be able to kill them fast enough.
Oh no. They're just missing, just out of vision there. Oh, he had attack ground. He's hit A and missed the R. That's what happened there. Very unfortunate for Winira. Is that healing or dying faster?
And now we're seeing one of the problems of not supporting the players in front of you. That Winira's spam is now heading up towards a Human Being, and even though he's got the welders, even though he's got the sharpshooters, it's a very wide angle of attack. And so these units will potentially be able to run around, though it does look like a command is potentially going to... Nope, they're running on in. So had they been able to hold them at the chokes by supporting each other, then this player in the corner would have been able to hang on for even longer.
Yeah, just aiming for those advanced converters. These do pop the easiest with the least health. They've only got 500-ish health each.
They also are really hard to heal. if you do end up on the new version of Hot Stepper, you'll notice that there's ludicrous amounts of metal around the map, but when you reclaim it, you only reclaim it at 1 metal a second, so different things have different reclaim and build power rates. Would love it if someone in the comments can, who knows how that works, can actually explain if there's some sort of formula, if it's to do with energy, with metal, if there's some sort of secret build power requirement. Would love to be able to see that.
Yeah,
I believe it's the balance of total metal, total energy, and build time. I think
Fair enough.
Is what gives you the ratios for what takes like metal and energy per second for each of the units.
Yeah. The thing that I'm most interested in is what determines build time. Is it a set thing, or is there something which determines it?
Units have a build, or everything has a build time in the game.
There you go. I wonder what the build time is of decoys. Twig, zoom over to my base.
I'm about to miss a big
decoys.
Explosion.
You were supposed to time that as I looked at the base.
Jeez, give me a second. We'll do a retake in like 10 seconds. We're going to see the first APHIS going down here for this corner.
Speaking of APHIS exploding, I wonder what the build time is of decoys. There you go. Best transition I've done in my life.
There we go. 200 build power out of each of these units here. So, sorry, 300.
300. These are better than
construction turrets.
Build turrets.
200 out of them, 300 out of decoys. So doing the right thing. When there is a limited unit cap, build decoys when you can afford it, because you will punch out these units in an.
I'm not doing it because I need to. I'm doing it because I want to.
Yeah, you've actually got plenty of units spare there. You're only using up half the unit cap there.
And whilst you and all your friends are playing in your base, I've got my Razorbacks on the march up in the top corner. I haven't been up here yet, so I figured it was time to go clear it out.
No spam though. I always like spam in front of these, otherwise the commanders will usually take out Razorbacks.
If they're in the right place.
Bunch of welders with them at the time, but I've sort of split them up somewhat. And
yeah, Sniper's doing very well against that. Commander going down. This is really starting to get big, and I do like to see here, this player here, they could have kept ecoing, but they've decided, you know what, it is my job to really help this front line. This player here is doing it right.
If this player had grabbed all those labs, and instead of having them go to a single point and then move up, if they had had each lab with its own separate queue of movement, which you can just do by right click and drag, holding shift right click and drag, and it will spread it out just like you can with units.
Yeah, such as over here.
They would have been ludicrously more effective.
Yeah, this is not spelling good. This is a good example again of eco that has gone too much eco, not zoomed out. Look at this. Watch that. Zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. Not that hard, and you'll see what's coming your way.
And speaking of APHIS explosions, decoys. See, it's a transition. It's a thing.
Nice. There is a lot of build power. Can you select and see how much build power is in everything? No, you can't. That would be cool.
I think you can zoom all the way out, double click on one of them, and there's 743 build turrets on the map for Armada, and if you do the same for Core, you can just add that in.
32 decoys you got out there.
Yes, there'll be many, many more.
I mean,
because my Resbots are now out gaining metal for the team.
Yeah, you can see how much metal you've got there overflowing to the team, keeping everyone nice and full. You just play not zoomed out. Oh my god. There we go, finally a reaction.
I'd realized that we hadn't been into this corner for a while, and there was lots of pressure coming up from this side. So I figured if I go and kill the ecos, then the units will probably slow down for a while.
It is genuinely devastating for me to see this eco fall down, because this player has worked so hard for them. But it's not just they've worked so hard for it. It's that they did such a good job building this eco and then getting units up and helping their team. Theirs was the corner that was the least harassed. Or sorry, not least harassed, but holding the best. And so they were perfectly fine to go that extra mile. And then when the pressure started coming on, they really did come online and help. They put the spam there, which is what was needed most. And that's just so. I genuinely dislike that this player fell to to so little.
You do have to be aware of when to frontline. Speaking of frontline, do check out on Wednesday. Tank Tom's got another one of his Road to 25s. We release them an episode every Wednesday, and it is a good example of like just focusing on that frontline and making sure you're building things at the right time. Check that one out.
Shameless plugging.
Always shameless. Watch our videos.
Speaking of shameless plugging. My vanguards, I'm trying to manual target down the enemy vanguards because this is a manual fire war.
You really need to do that in these games. Like, the radar's obviously not perfect. You need to build... Have you guys built pinpointers? They're always forgotten.
I have, yes.
You have. Okay, so you can actually see where things are going to be.
Somewhere, hidden under all the decoys, I'm pretty sure, I have a counter intrusion and pinpointers.
Yeah. Try and pick something that's off a radar. Yeah, it's pretty accurate with where everything is. There you go. Oh, that's a very hard to kill unit.
Yeah.
Where?
Bring in the Soul Invictus.
Is anyone?
For anyone wondering, Soul Invictus actually really good at killing them. So are Titans. Actually, you just have to stay at the edge of the range.
I mean, you can kill them with a I don't know, anything with a range that's over 590 technically. Just a really good micro because it's the slowest unit in the game at a speed of only 17.
Is it actually the slowest? There's nothing slower?
I should look that up before saying it, but I said it with confidence, so we're going to say that. We're going to say that that's what it is.
I'm pretty sure it is, though. I wouldn't surprise me if Ducks are slower because they're such a bad unit.
No, they're definitely faster, especially in the water.
Nah, Ducks are just slower on land. In the water, they've got the advantage. Behemoths don't swim very well.
You're talking about slower than a behemoth in water. A behemoth can't go in water.
Exactly.
Can we get a mod where we can put land units in the water if anyone happens to know how to do those tweaks in the code?
I mean, or we
please
can
and thank you.
Like
oh my
this.
god, that would be amazing.
Alright, this behemoth is scaring back your vanguards, but there looks to be quite the breakthrough here. This Juggernaut and these Razorbacks might clean it up, though. I dare say Razorback's a good unit to push forward here, but Mammoths going toe-to-toe with Razorbacks, they actually fare quite well. If it was a one-on-one, you'd find, I think, a Mammoth would kill about 80% of a Razorback face-to-face. That corner's definitely cleared out by Wanira, top left. Tom, you've done quite well down this side. It's
Hey, I've been clearing all across the top side.
Yeah.
Tank Tom, MVP of this map.
You are at the top of the leaderboard with damage dealt, 100%. But you know what you're doing, of course. Constantly going. One thing I will criticize, though, is not clearing out. Like, you got up there, and then you've headed down this way here.
Sorry, I didn't go kill the side that wasn't putting on huge amounts of pressure to go
True.
wipe the entire corner of the other one.
True.
I am so fine with what Tank Tom did, because with Tank Tom clearing that spam, it opened up this main lane of attack here, and it basically saved the game.
I ate my words. You're right.
I think we're about to see. Actually, I'll keep an eye out. But I keep looking at these fat boys, because fat boys are strong, and just in front of my base, fat boys are strong. But I will have a fun duel with them a little bit later on.
All right. I'm curious about these termites, Tom. Oh, actually, we've got some Razorbacks here.
I have some defenses there. It'll be fine.
Termites.
Yes, I see. You've just looked in your base and you've put down more advanced converters.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, actually, these are punching through hard. And I always forget how strong termites actually are.
If there were maybe 5 to 10 more of these, I reckon you would really. Yeah, there goes the build power. That's all. I know you've got a backup build power over there. That's a lot of damage. If there were 5 to 10 more of those, I actually reckon you would have lost your fusions.
Yeah, look, when they came up and they didn't die straight away and they started firing volleys, I was mildly panicking, but this is acceptable losses. I still have some build power. I didn't lose any of the economy, and I can rebuild fairly quickly. It also means that things are going to head that way.
Like if this player here, I mean, they're doing well, this player here, but if both these players went through spiders at the same time, I reckon that would have been dead. That would have been bad for you guys.
And
Oh, yeah.
this is something to really bear in mind on the if you're on the peasants team. If the kings are focusing the bottom half of the map, and you can get units to attack them from the top half of the map, it doesn't actually take that much to break the kings, because let's just say that they did manage to get those APHIS. They could then walk straight through me and straight up into the top of the base.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Once you start breaking the kings, it is ludicrously hard for the kings to get back into it, and it genuinely doesn't take much to start breaking the kings. Speaking of breaking the kings, 91 decoys,
and that economy in the top right's going down.
Ah, nice. You got there. You got there.
very nice.
Just before the world has got your bum.
And
Nicely done.
speaking of fat boys, I do believe that the Sheldons and the Vanguards have started fighting all of that mass, all that chunk that's coming down into it. Unfortunately, the time of the fat boy, because of its speed, is coming to an end.
Yeah, you've actually got a lot of the 18 Vanguards in our screen right now. They will pretty much decimate most things in their path. Even this amount, you can just micro them to take out the likes of a behemoth or a juggernaut. Where they struggle is when you put the spam out there. No spam coming out of the peasants. And a little bit darker now. It's gone night time again, so we'll have to zoom in a little bit more, get some of those perspective views, and really admire the Lightbringer update that happened recently.
Oh yeah, the new lighting is fantastic, but yes, it does make for a little bit of a more difficult cast. But we are fine with that, especially when we're on one of these epic shelling wars.
Yeah, that's a nice.
It's very
little...
cinematic, isn't it?
Also, for those of you
Beautiful game.
wondering why I'm bringing all the decoys onto the front line, Tank Tom made me aware of the fact that they can degun, not actual degun, but mini degun, and
How
so
much
I'm
damage do
really
they do?
trying to use them for that. They also have good build power for repair, for reclaim, and all that stuff, and they're decently tanky, just as a bit of a front line for those Vanguards. I had them, I figured I'd use them, and not to mention they're cluttering up my T2 lab and making it hard for units to get off the platform.
Yeah, they can build mines as well. I'm just
They can
thinking
what?
They can build mines.
Oh, wow. They can do lots of things.
Yeah, let's just go through that build queue there. All basic T1 eco and defenses by the looks of things. They're good fun. What I haven't been able to use yet, which I want to use, and you can't do it in King of the Hill because you can't offensively Juno, but sending Junos through an enemy's line, putting them in invisible, they have a capture command. So if you can...
They do have sorry, just for anyone wondering, Junos don't have a capture command. Decoy comms have a capture command.
I'm too involved in my tactic, but yes, to put it in English, sending those Junos down before you send some decoy commanders into the base, and then you can even go and capture like the likes of an APHIS. Just
You could capture an APHIS and control D it.
yes,
Please, please, for the love of anyone that's still watching us, someone do this. I don't care whether you do it to me.
yeah.
Do it. That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Do someone try and play any game and submit it in the the AllReasonNoLogic Discord. There's a link in the description below. Send us a replay, which you do that and control D and APHIS in somebody else's base, or even if you don't get the control D out, if you just capture it and then it
Also
dies.
accept energy converters as well.
Yeah, just want to see something go boom
No,
from a capture.
APHIS or nothing. No, we will accept the energy converters, but
We will
damn, I want to
cast-
see someone get that right on the APHIS.
We will cast it in lieu of one of these games, I reckon. That would be
Oh,
great
yeah.
to see.
This is like that. It'll be like that short where it was one rolling bomb that got into an entire base in a
It was a
I think
scuttle,
it was a
actually.
4v4v4 or something along those
Yeah.
lines.
Scuttle, I think, just happened to be perfect timing when radars went down for one base and managed to get a Scuttle just to control D right on the edge of a APHIS, which also had a converter
So,
right next to it, so it knocked on
just
enough damage to explode a whole base.
Jumping into the game, I've been building Vanguard Razorback, all so that if I ran into a heavily shielded position, I could do this. If you look at the Razorbacks on the front line, Razorbacks can walk through shields.
They can shoot through
Well,
them.
units can walk through shields, but when somebody's fighting you with vanguards and suddenly a bunch of Razorbacks show up, it's usually a problem.
A good way to break through here. You've done well to push this line.
And Razorbacks do great at dealing with the spam, which are used to try and mess up the vanguards.
Well, they sort of do. The vanguards try and predict where the spam is going, and so I've done a lot of damage to my own units. And so I'm just walking behind, I believe these are Bondman's Shivas, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to leave this to you and go somewhere else. Because this is how you deal with vanguards.
Just getting a nice
you just
image
spam
there.
them.
This is,
Oh, that's great.
for some reason, always one of the most contentious choke points when we play King of the Hill on the Throne. There always seems to be the biggest battle right in this entrance. I don't know why, but it's always this one. And it's always vanguards.
That's because the vanguard's ability to traverse the cliffs is huge. I genuinely think that the catapult is better for breaking the kings, but the vanguard's ability to absolutely be where it needs to be and put those high value shells down onto things, it's huge. It's absolutely
and to be
huge.
able to not walk through the defended areas to get there.
Yeah.
The range on the
Such a
vanguard is only 100 more than the catapult, and with the catapult, it can obviously, its biggest advantage, it can shoot through the shields. So if you can get one anywhere around here, you're going to see some Aetherses go pop.
And also, technically, a catapult can shoot a lot further than a vanguard if you get your shot just right. So, for example, if you line up on the very tip of one of these cliffs and fire from the edge of your range, your missiles will almost definitely fly over the top and land deeper into the enemy base, which is a very, very nice tactic if you can make it work for you.
Cheat range is the way I always use on glitters. Whenever you go for the tactic of building like a Calamity or a Ragnar on one of those hills, aim for the tip of another hill and you'll probably reach the whole length of the map into the eco, just with overshot.
And it does look like we have some danger for this player back in the bottom corner. They did manage to get themselves re-established with that spam. They've redirected the spam to help. They've got the pulsars to try and deal with the problem. However, there is enough Shivas in front that my vanguards are going to get into place to knock out that build power. Once the build power is dealt with, then the rate that spam will come out is reduced enough that it is no longer a threat.
This player's actually doing quite well. If these Shivas go down, ticks beat vanguards.
They do, but not in the numbers that are left.
Yeah, not with the time that they've got. Not with the build power going down now. Yeah. Good night. Sorry, Shunks and Yarka Jane.
Good showing out of that corner, though.
Oh, great showing out of that corner. That spam.
See, that was Anko. He's gone.
Was only beaten by, well, how many corpses are over here? It looks like there's 20 to 30 Shiva corpses that have happened because of those tick lines.
Yikes.
And if you look in the bottom left-hand side, all the spam that's coming out over here is supporting a vanguard push on that next side. And this is going to split the focus of the kings between two ramps now, and that's going to start becoming quite a problem, particularly as the push from this bottom side has only just started to slow down, and it's because of a change in positioning and a lot of units dying to those juggernauts. But it's still quite dangerous. One of the things, again, I think I've mentioned this earlier in this cast. If you look at how the map is set out, there is plenty of spots where the kings are vulnerable. If you could get army around there and taking these ramps and blocking the kings off here is the first step to make that happen.
Tier 2 walls doing their thing against these Razorbacks surprisingly well. These 3 bulwarks possibly going to take out a full Razorback army.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
Having to manually fire at these walls. And I don't even think we're going to see 2 walls fall down. Yeah, we do. Is that enough to walk through now? Yes.
The ticks are here, but the other thing, one of the things it did is it bought enough time that the player is now reacting.
Yeah. Tick's actually
And that's
gonna
largely what
go
your
alright.
defenses are for.
I see so
to
often in
buy
these
you
big
enough time.
games, T2 defenses going up, but then there's no T1 defenses. I mean, the bulwarks aren't too bad with that lower laser, but if you get enough ticks coming through here, this twin guard's actually going to do as much as a bulwark. Right, those vanguards really prying, really the only threat to the kings. If they can get close enough, you can see here it's been drawn. Just shoot up over that edge. This many vanguards will easily get through the
Yep.
through the shield. Razorbacks though.
Oof.
I'd be committing.
Yeah,
here.
that's the hardest thing about the vanguards. They are so vulnerable.
Yeah, Razorbacks are just going to clean them up. There's no running away from them. I'd be beelining it and just going for the no hope volley, or some hope. But they're either going to die or they can die and do some damage. That's a lot of.
Yeah, I remember at one point, I think it was you, Prey, was saying, shields, get shields.
Yeah, get shields. Get the
Because the bottom
shields.
side had been getting shelled, and I hadn't at all, and I was just going, doop, 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 doop.
I was like, nah, we got this as long as we don't die to some shenanigans. So like I made sure that we had counter intrusion. I was yelling at people to get shields. I've like 8 times shielded myself, even though there's no Ragnaroks, because I'm like, I could die to a volley of vanguards. And now that the pressure is really on, I've swapped into a large tick strategy, because that's what's going to be needed to clean this up. You need to be able to sneak those small fast units around in such volumes that the large scale defenses can't deal with them.
Why no Titans?
So for example, pardon?
Why no Titans for you? You love Titans.
Why no Titans for me? I love Titans, but decoys.
Where are they? Transition.
150 decoys.
And
The
they just
vanguards can't get out of the lab.
They
but
cannot. I
actually
stuffed
not building
myself and
anything.
haven't been building units for ages. Because decoys.
I've
decoys,
transitioned
Lois.
across them.
And I do believe it's right around now that I realise that I'm not building units.
You can see them all moving off shortly.
I'm
There
hearing
you
something.
go.
Oh, what's happened here?
Yeah, don't worry about that.
That's a unseen unit.
That is an FX Scavs commander. So if the game goes for more than 45 minutes, you can build a single one of those per team out of those T3 labs.
Lies.
No, check that. I swear it's real.
Yeah.
No, what happens is
And
you
you're
have to
wait, hang
have
on.
a
It's,
unanimous vote on who gets to use it. And
Yeah.
Then it's voting.
and
No, it's just the quickest person to build it depending on your settings.
and also you have to subscribe to AllReasonNoLogic. Otherwise it doesn't work. That's a huge range. That actually reaches your base. Just shoot up into the base.
Yes, it does.
Someone's
Yeah, that was kind of terrifying.
the wrong commander is controlling this. Just press A up there on the build range, and everything's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a huge range, isn't it?
What is the
It's a
health
very
on these?
scary boy.
These have. How big is that number? 100 and yeah.
Oh, bottom,
1.2?
very bottom of the map. Very bottom of the map. Ticks.
MVPs.
Golden ticks. I pray.
Golden ticks.
Let's just watch this go boom.
Yes.
We often say that you should pull
Come
your
on.
units back so they don't die in the explosion, but
So many years in the
Yes.
game, we didn't get the full effect.
Yes.
Of
simple
this
sacrifices.
pole. Boy.
Ticks are great. But decoy comms are even better.
Yeah, where are all yours? Oh, they're walking through.
I've got them on
Wow.
fight command, so they're just mass repairing everything.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that fight command repairs.
Actually, I think I'm reclaiming because I'm on plus 1500 I'm on plus 1.5 million metal.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's a lot of.
Ah.
You're standing on a 238k metal field, so that'll do it.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Actually, I think I know what's happened.
Yeah, I think something else has happened.
I think that the person that spawned in the epic commander realized it could fire on the base after it fired on the base, and so decided to drop in some extra resources for the kings.
I get it now. Look how quick that chest like takes out even a jug. Just melting a titan in about 4 seconds. Melting a jug in about 6.
You know what kills them even faster? The Gatling laser.
That's ridiculous.
The Gatling laser just makes things not exist.
Oh yeah.
Yikes. I mean, you're talking about it like it's a bad thing, but you've got one and you don't even know it.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know I had that. I'm way too distracted by my decoy comms breaking the lock that was happening at that ramp.
The peasants really did good this game to get so many defenses set up and so many units in all the chokes that
I mean,
even once
look how
the top
long
half
it's
of
taken us to crack this bottom corner.
Yeah, even the other bottom corner over here on the right hand side. Oh,
Yep.
what have I pressed? I've pressed the button that
F2.
No, F.
One of the F keys.
Well, Fs. I just pressed them.
There we go.
And there we go. It's back. Okay, ticks in, doing the damage.
And this shows, like, despite the fact that the top half of the map's been wiped for a while, we still haven't won this yet.
We have decoy. Epic versus epic. Why not just shoot up into the eco?
It's actually beating mine.
Convincingly. Oh, don't even worry about shooting. Just the effects. Just explosion. Wow. I think you got too many decoys.
No, I don't. They done really good.
Shiva's really doing work. I love Shivas. Like, you just get them in so many numbers. Possibly one of my favorite units in the game, if not the favorite unit in the game. I do like them at that early T3 stage if they're microed well with the range that they've got with that missile on the back, combined with the plasma. They do a lot of damage.
I just had a really good idea for the thumbnail of this video.
What's that?
Can you put a picture of a comm in there and give him a moustache?
Why is that? I don't get the reference.
It's an evil clone.
I want to put a picture of I'm
decoy comm.
I want to just put a picture of Lois.
No, decoy comm with the moustache. If the devs are looking for an idea for the next Halloween events, evil moustaches on the decoy comms would be amazing.
That's a good idea, actually.
Far enough through the year, that's not that far away now, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
Every year.
Yeah.
The slow grind that is our lives, eating away at everything, kind of like you guys eating away at this base.
Just one thing to bear in mind, the peasants just got a behemoth to the bottom of the ramp.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah,
it just died, but that was a single behemoth.
Perhaps because it was following that unit which had 2 million health or whatever it is.
I mean, there's still plenty of stuff here to deal with.
They also have a lot of vanguards sitting at the bottom of that ramp that are basically within range of the top.
But yeah, the peasants did very, very well with this one so far. The big thing which happened in this game was that the early aggression just wasn't there for the peasants, which means that the chip damage that usually happens to the bases at the top just didn't. The defenses needed to keep them alive, rebuilding the defenses, rebuilding construction. It was very it just wasn't there this game, which means that the kings kind of got to run the pace of the game. If you allow a team to run the pace of the game, then they will tend to win.
Because they didn't have the pressure on us, I could get out and pick the fights that I wanted to take. I wasn't fighting 3 armies to get to bases. I could build up a fighting force, work out where I wanted to punch through, and then go charging and get most of my army into the base, rather than having to fight through an army, defenses, comms, and then get to the eco.
With the Titans that are being microed at the moment, you could see when you were there was waiting to kill that last base. You need to put them on hold fire if you want to save that one laser shot for a specific target. Otherwise it will just shoot at probably the nearest thing or whatever it identifies as the biggest threat, rather than pointing at what you want. Similar to how you'd use the what's it called, the Janus, when you do those commander snipes early in the game. Just putting them on hold fire is really killer.
As a king, the other option is to just throw more units at the problem.
That is what's happening here, and it's not so much a problem anymore. This is just a cleanup crew with lucky old hedgehogs as the last commander in the game. What the frick is going on?
Where did that come from?
What did I miss out on?
Where did that come from?
What did I miss out on? Mods having their fun. Good on you, Nightmare.
Yeah, at this point we had enough. This didn't last particularly long.
So those little,
Yes.
each one of those little stabs coming out of this Queen Raptor just takes out an entire Razorback.
The Queen is quite a strong unit, but it can't survive the death of the final comm. And there we have it. The Kings have won this round.
Thank you, everyone. And honestly, please send us one of those games where someone uses a decoy comm into the enemy's backline on that capture command after junioring and taking out all the radar. I would love to see that tactic pulled off.
Absolutely would love to see that. And
Well,
with that, we will call it a night. Thanks everyone for watching. I've been Bradith. Joining me has been Twig and Tank Tom. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we will catch you in the next one. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Join us on the Discord, and join us on Sunday nights Australian time if you want to play these matches.
catch you guys.
Catch you.
See ya.